paid for by taxpayers.
So, Holly, what are your thoughts on all these things? I think that people with disabilities deserve intimacy like everybody else. Whether the taxpayer pays for it or not is an interesting conversation.
Look, I'm going to probably have a very different view from a lot of people who look at that. My son has an NDIS plan. I'm one of the people who is determined to see this scheme be sustainable and survive because I need it. I need it to be there for my son when I'm not. I think that the stories about people accessing sex therapy or whatever you want to call it is a salacious way of pointing out what the NDIS costs. For everyone sitting at home with their partner, their kids, their friends who get a hug, let alone any intimacy, imagine your life with no human contact, and that is what some people experience. That's not why the NDIS is blowing out. The NDIS is blowing out because we've got 10% of kids, boys under 12, with an NDIS plan because they're being put on an early childhood stream without a diagnosis and not moving off. We have a problem with providers overcharging, and they keep making up this figure about autism that 34% have autism. Autism costs about 5% of the NDIS. The largest costs by far are in the supporting independent living category. They're those old big block-funded providers that run group homes that are still not offering their residents the personalised plans and programs that they should be, but are charging exorbitant fees to have people living in these homes. If we're serious about looking at the NDIS, and I am, we need to stop having external lawyers who are incentivised to refuse plans and string families along and then settle the night before they're going to the AAT because they don't want a precedent. There are so many issues with the NDIS. I understand there's a salaciousness to this that makes it a sexy story to throw something at, but I actually find it quite upsetting that these are the constant attacks on the participants. This is not why it's blowing out. And if people think that some furor over people with a disability getting some human contact at some point, and also, and I'm sorry, I just want to say this, some people, they have the same urges as everybody who doesn't have a disability.
My position is absolute.
End up in the justice system if they cannot act on those appropriately. And this is a salacious way of tarnishing participants rather than focusing on providers who are rorting it and the excess legal lawyers' picnic that's occurring.
No.